That's what happens when your offense gets nearly 600 yards. You don't punt. You're 13 of 15 on third downs. I mean, now technically 11 of 15, but I think that if you convert the subsequent fourth down, that counts as a third down conversion. So if you go by that metric, USC was 13 of 15 on third downs. Caleb Williams plays out of his mind, and yet you lose. And USC was plus 18 in time of possession, 39-21. And Lincoln Riley was milking the play clock throughout the second half. Like, it wasn't just midway through the fourth quarter. He was doing it late in the third, early in the fourth. He was taking the play clock under 7 most of the time, and a lot of the time under 3 or 4 seconds. Because, like, he knew we have to shorten this game as much as we reasonably can, up 45-30 with 4.5 minutes left, and still. And it was just fascinating, just as an individual, looking at this game and thinking about, who's going to win, how's this all going to go. So when USC was up 15 with 4.5 minutes left, I was thinking, well, it's not quite over. Like, the offense failed to seal the deal on that drive, settling for a field goal, not being able to get at least one more first down to bleed some more clock. So I was thinking, with 4.5 minutes left, okay, I mean, like, USC's in good shape. You're certainly going to expect that you're going to win when you're up 15 with 4.5 left. But I was also thinking, this is not over, like, not with this defense. And sure enough, the really quick touchdown to reshape things. And then really the play that was the remarkable, plot twist and all of it. Mario Williams bobbling the kickoff out of bounds at the 1 yard line. And this was the one mistake Lincoln Riley made in terms of a play call. Like, I mean, you can always look at imperfect play calls throughout a game, but like, in terms of the one really big mistake he made, it was having the shotgun run on second down. First off, you need to do whatever you can to get the first down. It's like, if you get the first down, you control the ball. Tulane has no timeouts at that point. You win the game if you get the first down. So that's one reason why you have to throw there on 2nd and 10. But the other is that, at least if you're going to run the ball, it should be a dive, a fullback dive in a heavy set formation with the quarterback under center, or a quarterback sneak, anything to avoid the safety. Because here's the other thing. You're up 8, 45-37 at that point. All right, if Tulane gets the ball back with great field position, it's not the outcome you want, but it's better than the safety. Like, the safety was the worst case scenario, and Lincoln Riley needed to think that through in terms of, whatever we do, avoid the safety. Like, Caleb Williams throwing an interception would be better than a safety, because, Tulane gets the ball back, but it still has to get a 2-point conversion if it does get a touchdown. And let's say Tulane does get the 2-point conversion. Well, you still have the ball back, and you're Caleb Williams, and you're USC, and you still have a good chance of driving the ball down the field. Like, Tulane hasn't stopped you. So if it's a 45-45 game, a tie, after Tulane gets 8 points, you still have the upper hand. The safety was the worst case scenario, and Lincoln Riley, wasn't able to avoid it in that 2nd and 10 shotgun run from the end zone, and invited the prospect of Tulane doing exactly what it did, crashing down, getting penetration in the backfield, and getting that safety. And then one more thing, and just in terms of processing this game emotionally and just thinking it through and assessing everything. So, like, when Tulane got the ball back, I thought, all right, Tulane's winning this game. It's going to be 46-45. Even when Tulane had 4th and 10 near the 40 with 38 seconds left, I'm thinking, okay, well, make 50-50 chance here. Maybe USC wins, but, like, I'm not convinced. It's like you have to just drive it through the dagger, make the final play, and USC had failed to make that final play all game long. And so it's just a testament to how, in a normal situation, okay, you lead by 6 points, the opponent has 4th and 10 near its own 40-yard line with no timeouts, 38 seconds left. Like, 99 times out of 100, you should be confident in that situation. If you're facing that down and distance with that little time left, 99 times out of 100, you should feel confident that you're going to win. I did not feel confident just, in terms of thinking who's going to win this game. And so that is just a testament to how bad USC was on defense. And just to underline this for all the people who are watching here on the Voice of College Football, let's be very, very clear here. This was the worst defensive performance of the season. Like we've seen lots of bad defensive performances. The Cal performance, I'd say, was close to being the worst because you turned Jack Plummer into another Cal quarterback, Aaron Rodgers. Jack Plummer toasting you for over 400 yards. That is pretty bad. But that was still a game where Cal never did get the ball back with a chance to win, let alone actually win the game. This was the worst. And I think what really gets to the heart of why this was the worst is that USC was controlling the ball. USC had the ball, as I mentioned earlier, for 39 minutes plus 18. Tulane scored its 44 offensive points plus the 2 on the safety. Tulane scores 44 offensive points on 52 plays. That's nearly 1 point per play. USC had roughly 30 more plays than Tulane, did everything it could to minimize the amount of snaps Tulane had, and Tulane still goes nuclear on USC. And the final detail is when USC had the 15-point lead with 4:30 left, Tulane's able to just, go right down the field in 2 plays. Like at the very least, make Tulane work a little bit. Make Tulane take at least 2 flipping minutes off the clock so that time and score becomes a little bit more of a squeeze for the Green Wave. But no, it was an instant touchdown. And Tulane, when the score was 42-30, or actually, no, when it was 35-24, earlier in the second half, you're thinking, okay, USC leads by 11, late third quarter. Maybe Tulane's going to have to throw the ball. No, was able to just get a huge run to get right back in the game. So, conventional situations where you think, all right, like it's not the worst outcome to give up a touchdown. Let's just at least make Tulane bleed a little clock to give ourselves a breather and to, reduce the time and score leverage that Tulane has. No, it couldn't even do that. And then, of course, at the very end, on a day when Tulane really was running the ball so well with Tyjae Spears, then at the very, very end, Tulane gets 50 yards on 2 pass plays and is able to get right down there to the 7. And then just to add insult to injury, we almost had a Mark Richt, Georgia, Alabama 2012 SEC championship game scenario, almost, but that Tulane tight end dropped the ball. If he catches that pass at the 4-yard line, game's over. But no, he had to drop the pass. Tulane gets the extra shot, wins the game. Just an absolute SHIT sandwich for USC fans. It was really, I'm doing my job on one hand, but then like the other part of my brain is going, that's the darndest thing I've ever seen. And I was doing it pretty much almost every other play. It was a remarkable game to witness on a lot of levels.
I'm looking at Tulane's schedule. They scored more points than they did against USC on one occasion. That was against SMU in a 59-24 win. They also had some 45-point games against the likes of UCF and South Florida, the Mighty Bulls of South Florida. So 2 things come to mind in response to that rant. Number 1 was the indictment that you make in rating your level of confidence at 50% for a defense that is protecting 4th and 10. 4th and 10 is a 15% play, 20% play, maybe.
Yeah.
The other one would be, I didn't realize until I was talking to our buddy Tim that Mario Williams should not have been returning a kickoff, that was Raleek Brown's role.
Well, like he has been used at times, but the thing I noticed on watching the replay of that is that Mario Williams was not squared up to the ball. For people watching at home here at the Voice of College Football, if you get a chance to look at the replay, his back is not to the goal line. He was turned at like a 45-degree angle so that his body was facing the diagonally, like, so he caught the ball, or he tried to catch the ball at like the 3-yard line, so his body was like facing toward the 10-yard line, roughly like that. And so his body was turned diagonally toward the middle of the field. It wasn't as though he was straight up with his back square to the goal line. So he was off balance. He was not straight up. And so, if he bobbles the ball from a straight up squared position, that ball is going to go in front of him. Now, maybe Tulane recovers, but the chances of the ball going out at the 1 yard line are nil. Like that ball is going to go out to like the 10, 12 yard line, and USC doesn't get in that very specific pickle, which enabled Tulane to get the safety and win the game in regulation. So, I mean, we can deal with whether or not he should have been back there, but he didn't play it right. You should be, your body should be toward the goal line, and just looking straight ahead at the field. Why are you coming at the ball from an angle like that? Just shouldn't happen. I mean, I know that the kick is going to the side, but you need to be like, it's like an outfielder preparing to make a catch and throwing to home plate. You get behind the ball. Now, I mean, if like in baseball, of course, if you have to dive, okay, you have to get at it from the side. But in terms of, gathering under a normal fly ball, and that's the analogy here. This is a fly ball coming at you. You circle around behind the ball and get fully in front of it so that you can make the catch. All right. And Mario Williams did not do that. And it just reinforces the point that, and I've planted my flag here on this one, and I've written about it at Trojans Wire. Lincoln Riley's been winging it on special teams, and this is the big leagues. You can't wing it at this level, and it's one of three phases of football. And we've seen like Notre Dame, USC's rival, which by the way just got Sam Hartman. So like next year in South Bend, that's going to be a really tough game. And Notre Dame has one of the best special teams coaches in the country. If Notre Dame gets 7 points against USC next year with Sam Hartman being at quarterback, those added 7 points on a blocked punt or some other special teams play, that could make all the difference. And if you're Lincoln Riley, you're paid to make the college football playoff. You're paid to compete for national championships. You need an elite special teams guy. And not having an elite special teams guy on this staff, you are giving away points. And if you expect the best, if you insist on the highest standards, then you don't just say, well, we're going to wing it. Special teams, you only have a few plays a game. We can get by. I don't want to burn one of my 10 assistant spots. Is that a professional attitude? Is that a national championship mentality for yourself and your program? I think the answer is very clear, and this game reinforced it.